The Pittsburgh Steelers have always prided themselves on being a powerhouse in the NFL. Strong defense, tough football, and some legendary quarterbacks. But recently, the team has found itself in a difficult position at quarterback. After 2 seasons with 2022 first-round pick Kenny Pickett under center, the Steelers have now moved on. And one NFL legend, Terry Bradshaw, is firing shots at Pittsburgh for how they handled Pickett's development. But here's the big question. Did the Steelers really fail Pickett, or did he fail them? Before we dive in, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video on the latest NFL news, trades, and team analysis. Kenny Pickett's time as the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers was a short but eventful one. Pickett, who was drafted in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft, started 25 games for Pittsburgh over 2 seasons. In that time, he posted a 14-10 record, throwing for 4,474 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. But despite that solid stat line, the Steelers decided to part ways with their young quarterback. Now, the Steelers are in the midst of a quarterback transition, with Aaron Rodgers set to take the reins in 2025. But the move to let Pickett go hasn't gone unnoticed, especially by Pittsburgh's most famous quarterback, Terry Bradshaw. The Hall of Famer and Steelers legend has some harsh words for the organization's handling of Pickett, and he's not holding back. Bradshaw recently made some scathing comments on the To The Point Home Services podcast, questioning why the Steelers didn't do more to build a roster around their young first-round pick. Steelers getting rid of Kenny Pickett, a first-rounder, got rid of him after 2 years, Bradshaw said, and they're still looking for a quarterback. They didn't even do anything to build around him. Bradshaw believes that first-round quarterbacks need support to succeed, and he points to the successes of other quarterbacks who found success with the right roster. He highlighted the example of Baker Mayfield with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings, both of whom saw a resurgence in their careers with better support systems around them. And if you're wondering if there's any weight to Bradshaw's criticisms, let's look at the facts. In 2022, the Steelers missed the playoffs, finishing with a disappointing 9-8 record. Pickett showed flashes of promise, but struggled to stay consistent. In 2023, Pittsburgh made it back to the playoffs, but it wasn't thanks to Pickett's playmaking. Instead, the Steelers' offensive success came from players like wide receiver George Pickens, who broke out for over 1,000 yards, and running back Najee Harris, who rushed for over 1,000 yards himself. But despite this, the Steelers and Pickett were still at odds going into 2024. It became clear that the team wasn't fully sold on him as their quarterback of the future. So, with Aaron Rodgers now in the fold for 2025, the Steelers are hoping the veteran can guide them back to the top. But Bradshaw doesn't mince words when it comes to the Steelers' failure to help Pickett thrive. He put it bluntly. They didn't protect him. They didn't get him an offensive line. They wanted to run the football, but they didn't have an offensive line that could protect, and they didn't have weapons. He had no wide receivers to speak of. Ouch. That's some serious criticism of the Steelers, management, and their lack of support for their young QB. And when you look at it, Bradshaw has a point. The Steelers' offensive line has been an issue for several years. They ranked in the bottom half of the league in sacks allowed in 2023, which certainly didn't help Pickett's development. Without a reliable offensive line to protect him, and without a true number 1 receiver to throw to, it's easy to see how Pickett might have struggled to reach his full potential. Now, after being released by Pittsburgh, Pickett finds himself with a new team, the Cleveland Browns. Yes, you heard that right. The former Steelers starter is now competing for the starting quarterback job in Cleveland, where he'll have a chance to prove himself again. Pickett will be battling it out with the Browns' incumbent QB, who has had his own share of ups and downs. The competition is wide open, but one thing is clear. Pickett's future in the NFL isn't over. If anything, his story is just beginning. Bradshaw, who is no stranger to criticism himself, believes that the Steelers made a huge mistake in not giving Pickett the tools he needed to succeed. And while it's true that the quarterback carousel in Pittsburgh has left fans scratching their heads, it's also worth noting that Bradshaw's assessment of Pickett's lack of support from the team is far from unfounded. The Steelers might be moving on, but for Pickett, a fresh start with the Browns could be just what he needs. It's a chance to show the NFL and the Steelers that he can be the quarterback they thought he could be. What do you think, NFL fans? Did the Steelers fail Kenny Pickett, or did he simply not live up to expectations? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get the conversation going. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with all your fellow football fans. Stay tuned for more on this developing story. From Pittsburgh to Cleveland, Kenny Pickett's journey is far from over, and this quarterback battle is one you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time with all the latest NFL news.